Howdy there, folks. My name is Modal Joe. Welcome to the YouTube channel of Modal Joe. And today we're going to be talking about a few things. So this week, the Game Awards happened, and I'm quite excited over the news, actually, considering how we're getting fucking Jet Set Radio again. And Golden Axe is looking pretty fucking good. But we're not talking about that today. Today we're going to be talking about the console wars. And believe it or not, the console wars is still a thing. And it's 2023, I am aware of that, and it is still a thing. Now, the funny thing is, 2023 was a really good year for video games. I mean, you got the Western release of Yakuza Ishin, you got Baldur's Gate 3 finally coming out of early access, you even got Armored Core, which won, you know, Best Action Game of the Year, and the one that I was personally most excited for, which was Final Fantasy 16, it was really fucking good. Now, the issue is, since this year was a really good game for, a really good year for games, not a really good game for years, but, since it was really good, we have had some developments on the console wars. Now, the main issue that I'm going to be talking about today is Spider-Man 2, Starfield, and all this shit. Now, people on Twitter, obviously it's fucking Twitter. Now, the main issue is, I'm going to be going through Twitter right now. Now, this guy named ASC in hiding on Twitter posted, Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year over this is crazy. And he posted a video of the opening cutscene where you fight Sandman as Miles Morales. Now, in all honesty, I genuinely think, my opinion is, this is my opinion, that Final Fantasy 16 is my Game of the Year. Or maybe like a Dragon Man. No, that's more of a... whatever, I'm rambling. But now, my main issue is, it's like, Spider-Man 2, it is a good game. Like, let's be quite clear on this. It is a good game. But my main concern with it is it does nothing innovative. Now, I made a Twitter post, a few Twitter posts about this, and, I'm not going to talk about the story here, obviously, since people still have, they get their panties in a twist when I talk about spoilers. But basically the game does nothing innovative, as I mentioned, and it is, in my opinion, a complete downgrade of the OG game, because, well, the OG games actually. Now, Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2018, yeah, it was 2018. It had way more content. It had way more, like, activities to do. Not really Miles Morales, but it had much more interesting things to do. And, they took away the point of unlocking new suits. Now, in the original game, when you were playing it, you were like you were unlocking suits to see what new powers you would get. Like, you get the Iron Spider and God knows what. You get the Spider Drones from, like, the time when Dr. Octopus was Spider-Man. In Spider-Man 2, that's not a thing. Now, one thing that Spider-Man 2 does really well is spectacle. And then you bring out Baldur's Gate 3, and honestly, it's just like, it's Hulk Hogan versus a baby. Baldur's Gate 3 has way more content. It is 200 hours in length, as far as I'm aware. I only played it for 80 hours, and that was one playthrough. That was just one playthrough. I played it for 80 hours. And it was a really fucking good game. Now, the issue is, Spider-Man, I think, I played through it. Not really, but I played most of it. I didn't finish it because I was just there, there's no point to this. I'd rather play the original game. I played up to the point where Venom appears. And, as far as spoilers concerned, you already know Venom is in the fucking game. So, Venom appears, and I was like, I already know what's gonna happen, fuck this, and I didn't finish it. I'm gonna finish it by the end of this year, but, and before the Sony ponies come in and say, you can't say anything, you didn't finish the game. My dude, the game was so predictable, it felt so repetitive, and before you say that Baldur's Gate is a clicking simulator, dude, by the same logic, fucking Spider-Man... It's this. This is a clicking simulator. This is Spider-Man. You occasionally press this, you hold this down, and go like this. You can't, make a good argument against that. my main argument against Baldur's Gate 3, I'm personally not a fan of Dungeons & Dragons. I think Dungeons & Dragons is kind of lame. Controversial opinion, obviously, but that's my opinion. I don't like Dungeons & Dragons. But Baldur's Gate 3 is still a fucking amazing game. Like, the story, as far as I'm concerned, well, the ending was kind of like, they still added to it. Like, you know, patch 5 got released, like, what, 2 weeks ago? And because of the amount of ads in fucking Game Awards, they found the time to do a hotfix in the middle of it. And Spider-Man 2, well, you know, it has the same problem as I found, like, in, like, you know, remember the Spider-Man DLCs? It wasn't more of the same, but you know, I feel like Spider-Man 2 and Sony games in general, they have a very big problem where they make a really good game, and then they make a second game which is an exact, like, carbon copy of the original. Maybe it's worse. I mean, you saw this with Horizon Forbidden West, where it's just more of Horizon Zero Dawn, except you fight new monsters. And, you know, I like Horizon Zero Dawn, don't get me wrong. I think it's a good game. Horizon Forbidden West, I played it for like 8 hours, and I was like, okay, it's more of the same. And I forgot that it existed. Just to clarify this section of the video, it's mainly because Elden Ring came out like, what, 2 or 3 weeks after Forbidden West, and I was busy with work, and I kind of forgot Forbidden West existed. So I'm eventually gonna finish the game, but Jesus Christ. Like, that was the worst time to fucking release a game, dude. I feel like Sony games should be smaller. It should be way smaller, and like, you know, in terms of Yakuza type games, where it's small, it has its own identity, there's a lot of things to do. Yes, they can copy a bunch of things from the older games and add to it. It's still a good fucking time. With Sony games, I just end up getting bored. And now we get to Xbox. Starfield. Didn't get anything, didn't get any awards, just like Spider-Man 2, and people are mad about it on Twitter. I'm sorry, but I played Starfield. I didn't even finish it. I thought it just bored me out of my mind. You know, if it's Skyrim in space, I would finish it, but I'm just there like I have other things to do than play this, and I dropped it in favor of Pillars of Eternity, which is another really good fucking game. And if you ask me, Xbox, you guys are stupid. You wanted to buy Larian out, you didn't do it because you were like, oh, it's just an indie game, and effectively, after the game released, a bunch of devs started shitting their pants, so Phil Spencer, you're dumb. Give Obsidian money, make Pillars of Eternity 3. There you go, you get your own Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I've been looking around, and honestly, if you ask me, like, the one Xbox game that did deserve all its praise is, you know, Hi-Fi Rush. I didn't really play it, I haven't played it yet, I have it on my Steam library downloaded. But, like, it has a lot of personality to it. And in a lot of games these days, that's what they need. And I feel like, you know, series games like Hollow Knight, you know, Yakuza, as I mentioned, Shantae even, like, that's an old franchise, but that's what a lot of games these days are missing. And I feel like that they should bring that back. And if you ask me, Spider-Man 2 has lost all of its identity because it just bored me. Like, there's no point in playing the fucking game if it bores you. And while it does have pretty graphics, it has amazing spectacles, it's still lost out on a lot of things. Spider-Man 2, honestly, I loved the first 2 games. Spider-Man 2 was a big disappointment. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is Modal Joe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.